Hello guys, today I'm looking at Far Cry 3. This is where finally Far Cry started to kind of come into its own. The first game was kind of like a weird cult hit, like, oh, that's kind of neat. You have all these mechanics that all don't work in one package and with a kind of non-story. And the second one, they kind of refined all the game details and the game world and really made it feel good, you know, to all the different outposts. But the main story was literally just nothing non-existent at all. And here they finally struck a balance. They finally made a proper game with Far Cry 3, and they kind of found their niche, which is that you want to make a game where the villain is super alluring or interesting and has a big personality, and he's like kind of the main focus of the game. And so they kind of did that with Voss as the main character. And I think the promo videos they did with Shia LaBeouf, I think it's Shia LaBeouf, yeah, basically being tortured by Voss were just absolutely hilarious. The guy is like a natural born sadistic kind of guy, and he's just really super mean to the these celebrities and these pretty boys. And he's like, you know what, you celebrities, you Americans, you think you can come here and do whatever you want, but you know what, time for you to get a little revenge. And so Voss's whole personality is kind of like not exactly like the Joker, but it's kind of like this ridiculous, eccentric kind of guy who loves taking out revenge on people he feels deserve it, and also essentially creating this this crazy philosophy of his own where he just kills people, but then, is also definitely insane. And he's just a very entertaining to look at, to talk to. Like, the actor who plays him brings a lot of life to the role and made Far Cry 3 basically the Voss game, right? It's basically based on this character, which is really funny and cool. Anyway, what Far Cry 3 is about is, again, similar to the first one. You're stranded on a random, island, but you are some rich, pretty boy, essentially, with all of your friends on your, like, stoner vacation, and you all get stuck on this island. It's somewhere in the Indonesia or the South Pacific or something. And so you basically are surrounded by, not it's actually cannibalists, but like terrorists and all these psycho, like, paramilitary guys, and you basically need to survive. And so you go from like a normal teenager to this guy who's suddenly some badass who can shoot his gun and, take down all these guys and whatever. And, it's a big deal or whatever. So this is where Far Cry 3, released a lot of the kind of the basic gameplay components that would be standard in the games going forward. Things like marking enemies, takedowns, gathering herbs and stuff, and animal skins from the wildlife. Different kinds of vehicles, the kind of villains they have, the notification marker when someone sees you, and claiming each outpost and kind of checking them off the map along with the eccentric villain, and also the whole perk system, how it goes towards giving you a final kind of special perk, and also a choice at the end of the game for how you want it to end. I'll be completely honest though, I did not actually beat this game. As soon as Voss dies in the first few hours in the first act of the game, I was like, oh, I don't care about this game anymore, because I was like, well, what, there's a new villain and now they're part of some organization, and like, I just didn't care about it. And I think the first kind of arc with Voss was the best part of this game, and after he died, I just again had no desire to continue playing, and so I stopped really. There are better made shooters out there. They also do this cool thing though with the Mayari, where essentially every perk you get is a tattoo on your arm, and so instead of telling your family's history or your story, it's telling you your upgrade path, which I thought was a really cool thing that they did. They also have the buddy system returning in this game, so you always get another character to accompany you. They kind of have more of a personality in this game, but really in Far Cry 5 is when that game really shines, where they have very distinct, well-written side characters who basically come and help you out and are very funny. But yeah, this is again kind of the building blocks of future Far Cry games. The map is also huge. It's also meant for lots of exploration. Combat, replaying, retaking outposts, and a lot of rinse and repeat kind of gameplay, and the first major open world kind of game. I think the mission everyone also remembers from this game is when you have to burn the marijuana field and you get high during a gunfight. That's kind of, part of the ridiculous nature of the game and stuff like that. Yeah, this game is it's okay, you know. It's very much, you know, rinse and repeat game. I there's a certain point I can't imagine being someone who got all the collectibles and did all the outposts in this game, unless this was the only game I owned. I could understand that, but no, I just couldn't do it. And again, I just quit after Voss because the main point of me playing was just basically gone. And I didn't find, you know, a lot of joy in upgrading all of my gear, especially when I have, you know, other stuff to play that is honestly just better than this. I do remember this is the game that also introduced the flamethrower, and I just love seeing the effects of the flame on the environment. It's just super, super cool at how everything catches fire and spreads. The programming there was really, really tight. Also, I really hated all the other characters, especially the characters you play as and all your friends. They're these douchey, like, young kids on vacation, and they just don't seem to care about the destruction and chaos they're causing. Like, there's one mission where you pick up your friend who's like, you know, shooting down like all these guys with a helicopter like machine gun. He's like, dude, bro, can you believe this? Like, this is wild, bro. Like, I can't believe this is really happening. I'm a helicopter gunner, dude. And it was like this just insufferable asshole. And I kind of wanted to see Voss go back to torturing these idiots. It would have brought me great joy, but yeah, it's pretty funny. But yeah, Far Cry 3 still feels kind of empty and rough in some ways, and I mean, the game's got better, you know, from here on in, but yeah, this is a game that I just didn't really vibe with. Hey guys, I thought before I go for my Far Cry 3 video, I just wanted to add on the Blood Dragon DLC for this game. This has got to be the best DLC I've ever played. The Blood Dragon DLC is pretty much a game way better than Far Cry 3, and I absolutely love it. So the whole theme of this game is based around the 80s action movies, so things like Terminator, Rambo, all those kind of macho style things, and done in a semi-parody way, but it actually feels super, super cool. So like, you have just ridiculous things like the way you like hold your, you know, repeater lever action shotgun on your wrist. You have like a robo arm. All the dialogue is just so intentionally cheesy that it really works, and I absolutely love it. It is so much fun, and I can tell this was a big passion project. It's also called Blood Dragon because there are these giant dragons that are like these made of like techno, like digital something or robotic or whatever, and they just exist in this super cool world. I love the soundtrack, the OST for this game. It's super, super funky. This has got to be one of the best DLCs I've ever played, and honestly should have been a standalone game. It was so freaking good, and honestly it has almost nothing to do with Far Cry 3. So all the weapons you get are just super cool. You know, they're either some sort of laser or plasma based weapon or some kind of shotgun. Like, whoever designed this game was very passionate, and I love how all the enemies like turn into like this blue coolant blood thing that's going on. You know, this game honestly is more cyberpunk than cyberpunk. Like, if you want to play cyberpunk, this is the game you're actually going to play, because this gives you the experience you want. It's honestly the most ridiculous, coolest thing I've ever seen. And the fact that like you pull out people's like cybernetic hearts to heal yourself and get points, it's so ridiculous. I love it, and it's just super, super cool. And the weapons, the sniper you get in this game is really, really cool. I love it, honestly. But yeah, it just all the aesthetic of technology and whatnot is just really, really cool and good. Also, the open world is a pretty cool place. You also get, you know, like a car for transport, which is super, super cool. And yeah, you're able to basically traverse, and you know, it has the same like, you know, formula as the other games, where you have a bunch of outposts and open world, and you know, all the basic gameplay mechanics. But it's actually the atmosphere and the thing, everything else about it is so just bleeding edge cool and over the top ridiculousness that I don't care. It justifies its own existence, even though it's hyper repetitive. It's just done really, really well. And yeah, Another cool trope around this time was also the bow and arrow, and so that came into Far Cry because, like, hey, it's a naturally recurring resource, it's a stealth thing, and so they also had like a cyber, bow and arrow in this DLC, which I think is just so ridiculous, so cool. I love it. And so the outpost kind of, attacks. You would basically take it on the same way almost as Far Cry 3, but there's certain things like shield generators and alarm systems that you can take out beforehand, and it just feels a lot cooler, honestly, and a lot more fun. Yeah, this is a severely underrated DLC. I honestly wish this was a standalone game because it is so freaking cool and well made and everything. It's just, I just can't get enough of it, honestly. And of course, the sound design is top notch. It's just such an unforgettable experience with the laser guns and the whatever pistols. Everything in this game just feels cool without having to, feel whatever. It feels like a variation of game where, like, it's almost like Devil May Cry, where everything is just meant to be cool. And I absolutely love it. Anyway, guys, I guess this is the real Cyberpunk game, honestly. And yeah, that's all I got to say about it. See you later. Bye.